What's up, guys? It's Danny from Swim Good Podcast, and tonight we're deep diving on what the hell really happened in season 4, episode 5, and can our favorite characters survive? Issa and Molly, girls, you broke my heart. But we'll get there. Let's do a rundown on the episode. So when the episode first opens up, we see that Nathan provides support via DM to Issa on the night before her event. Sis is shook, okay? She's stressed. She doesn't know what's going to happen. And she really leans on Nathan to just kind of be a positive light for her. And we know that in the past, before he kind of dropped off the face of the earth, that was really Nathan's, the energy that he brought to their relationship is really just to be kind of like an unconditional, unwavering support figure for her when she really, really needed it. So it was nice to see that his sort of entree back onto the scene was being the person that we know he can be, which is a support for Issa. And we also find out that he helped her with an issue. I don't think at the beginning that they specify what we know later, which is that he helped guarantee her opening artist, or not. What do they call it? Not an opening artist, but her main artist for the block party. We also find out that Issa. We also find out who Issa is actually talking to on the phone when in episode 1, she talks about how she doesn't F with Molly anymore. So we now we know for sure that she's actually talking to Nathan. Molly is having second thoughts on attending. Sis is stressed. She doesn't know what to wear. Of course, she's finding an issue with the weather and the fact that it's going to potentially, there's a 10% chance of rain. Okay, Molly, we see you. And, it's a block party in January. What am I supposed to wear to that? And Andrew kindly puts Molly back in her place, talking about it's LA. It's 75 degrees all year round. So then we flash to Issa, and she's walking around. It's the day of the event. The event looks really nice. It looks really well put together. Vendors are there. Of course, her crew comes. Some of her crew is there, but there's no black people there yet. And she's like, where are all the black people? All the white people in the neighborhood are there as soon as the event opens. So, her intern, Koya, had to set her straight. Like, listen, we're only 17 minutes in. We'll be here. And everybody knows we show up on different time. That's just how it is. So, Issa kind of looks around, surprisingly sees Condola standing in the corner, talking to some people. And Issa walks over to her. One thing I would say about Issa is, as awkward as she is, as cringeworthy as she can be at times, Issa is not scared, right? Like, she's not scared to address any issue just kind of upfront. Sometimes she may not have the right words. She may almost speak a little bit off the cuff. But at the end of the day, she has no issue kind of boldly walking into what could potentially be a tense moment. And we see that with Condola. Condola lets her know that her and Lawrence are broken up. I think we all pretty much predicted that, that was the end of Lawrence and Condola. And so now it's kind of a wonder why Lawrence didn't tell Issa. We know that in the last episode, he was trying to tell her something. I think we all pretty much guessed that he was going to tell her that him and Condola did break up. But Condola seemed confused. Well, maybe she didn't seem confused, but she seemed sure that Lawrence would have told Issa that. And I think if we kind of take a second to look deeper into that, at the end of the day, where Lawrence and Condola kind of went left is when Condola pointed out that she didn't think that him and Issa, or that he was over Issa, and she asked him point blank, should I be concerned about you and your ex? And if Issa hadn't cheated on him, would he have ever left? He would still be in relationship with her. And I think whatever that answer was that he had to Condola's question, Condola knows something that Issa doesn't. And that's why she backed away, and that's why she wasn't sure about coming today to the block party, because at the end of the day, she has more to lose in this situation, right? That she's walking up on. Potentially, she may have thought that she would have seen Lawrence and Issa together, at the block party. But little did she know, he has not yet communicated the updated relationship status to Issa. And we later find out he didn't even communicate to his friends, because the Dubois, Tiffany and Derek, who pretty much are always, they have all the information. Whether they share it or not, that's up to them. But they're pretty much always up to date on what's going on with the crew. And we noticed that they didn't know. Now, it could be because as new parents, they've been in their parent bubble and they're kind of behind, or Lawrence hasn't told anybody about it. And I think his reasoning is going to crop up later in the season. So I'm excited to kind of see where this storyline continues. As we move further in the episode, we see that Tiffany and Kelly and Derek are at the step and repeat, taking pictures, but they're there on time, supporting Issa, and they're proud of her. They've seen what she has accomplished, and they're really happy for their girl. Tiffany and Derek don't have the baby, so Tiffany's already drinking. It's mommy and daddy's day out. And then rapper Amine, I'm not really sure to pronounce it. I know it's like a ethnic Eastern African name, so correct me in the comments. But I do love his music. I just don't know how to say his name. He plays Darren, or I don't remember his character's name, but basically he's a love interest for Kelly. And so she has told him that she's British, and I just want to say Kelly was hilarious in this episode. Like, I don't know if she had anything to do with the writing in this episode. I don't think she did, but because we know that the actress who plays Kelly is often in the writer's room on Insecure. So I'm not sure if she wrote for this episode, but either way, the writing for her was really on point, and her acting as well. And so she pretended to be British, and it was just a whole mess. Issa's brother Amal, of course, is playing Kelly to the left. And I think it's so funny because Kelly, who is normally quite quick-witted and just off the cuff, like she's really off the wall with her commentary. It's like she has she's not quick with the comebacks with Amal. Like, Amal is always able to zing Kelly, and it's hilarious to watch, because I just love the energy that he brings, and that he so easily slays Kelly, and he'll do it all day up and down. Like, he loves to do it. So it's enjoyable to watch. Andrew provides a new perspective for Molly to let go of the beef with Issa as they're sitting in the VIP section. He's really like, yo, your girl really did that, like, this is why she's been so busy, because she's really been working. And we know that Molly just never fully gave Issa her due when Issa was trying to get this event off. She, along the way, she poo-pooed everything from her fundraising to her friendship or business association with Condola. She made assumptions about Issa and Lawrence's, semi-friendship, thinking were looking at it as if it was messy. And at the end of the day, Issa was really just trying to get this event off the ground. She really, really believed in it. And so I like that Andrew kind of provides that different perspective for Molly to see, because sometimes you need to step back and allow someone else to look at a situation, because you're too deep in it that you don't have any perspective, that you can only see it how you've told yourself it should be seen. And I like that. And when we see Molly kind of attempt to have a peace offering with Issa, but at the end of the day, Issa's busy, and honestly, it's Molly's bad, because if Molly had got on board with this event earlier on, I'm sure that she'd be running around with Issa on the day of, right? Helping out. And so it wouldn't be interns pulling Issa away and Molly just having no understanding of where she's going and who she's, what kind of problems she needs to solve. Back in VIP, Derek gets a phone call from the babysitter, and the baby is going crazy. So he runs home to be with the baby. Tiffany really asked him if she can just stay. She said that she needs this. This meaning to be out. And she also manages to slip into her friends that breastfeeding didn't stick with the baby. And she's over it. And we see that Tiffany has two cups of alcohol. Your girl is double fisting it. And Amal is too happy to have his favorite with him for the rest of the night. But I think we really need to spend some time on this Tiffany Derek situation, which is really just looking like Tiffany has postpartum depression. As someone who at one point was a new mom, postpartum depression is nothing to play with. So there's like a whole thing where PPD is a whole diagnosis. But I think there's also just something called the baby blues. And I'm not sure sort of where the line is between the two. But there is something that really happens to a woman when you have an infant. Sometimes your labor can be traumatic. And Tiffany talked about having a blood clot in the minutes after she delivered her baby, and having to deal with doctors who would not listen to her. In addition to the fact that, breastfeeding not working, when you are basting a baby for 9 months, you have all kinds of ideas about what you want to do to bond with your baby. And the number one thing is breastfeeding. It's the most quote unquote natural thing that a mother can do for their child. And so when it is not natural, when it does not come easily, and it takes a lot of work, it can be very depressing. It can be very upsetting. It can be very off-putting, and really kind of become a barrier between mother and child to bond. So I think in the way that Insecure does it, just the fact that they're attempting to bring light to the situation, they still do it in their Insecure way. So they're not, at this point, they're not devoting a whole storyline to it. But I would love to see them kind of go into it more. It seems like Derek has no issue with Tiffany staying, but I would say that he seems a little sad. But at the end of the day, he realizes the baby needs me and I gotta go home to relieve this babysitter, because obviously our baby is very unhappy. And I think sometimes new parents need that. And there's always one parent who the baby bonds with. And you think it's the mom, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the baby bonds better with the dad right off the bat. And we don't really know why. But at the end of the day, this is a really real issue. And it can be a scary time, because you just feel like so much pressure as a new mom. And so I can only imagine that Tiffany feels so much pressure. Do I think that she should have left? Yes, I do. And I've seen a lot of the comments on Twitter, and a lot of people were like, good on Derek for not making a big deal of Tiffany staying. Their baby is an infant. I don't know how old, but I want to say that baby is like a couple weeks to a month old. And at that point in time, that baby needs its parents, both of them. And there will be times where you can, have a break, have like a long break for some hours. But really, I think, and you can come at me in the comments. I mean, who gonna check me? But I think that in the early stages of having a newborn, a mommy break or a daddy break needs to look more like I'm going to the store to get some ice cream, or I'm going to take a shower. That 15 minutes, but your baby's at home in the crib and fine, even if they're screaming their head off. That is important. But staying at a block party all night, I don't think so. I really don't. I'm not saying that Tiffany's stress doesn't make her deserving of a break, but at the end of the day, I think a block party is too much, especially as she is the person who had the baby. And there is scientifically still there is literally a chemical connection between a mother and a child for several weeks after the birth. So I believe they're still in the zone. Now, if you want to fight with me and tell me that the baby is 3 months old, that's a different situation. You can go to a concert with a 3-month-old. But I would be remiss if I just, didn't offer my opinions on that. Anyway, we'll move on. I love the wobble scene. We get to see just before Vince Staples steps on the stage that Issa and Molly have a moment to bond again. And it's nice to see our girls smiling and laughing and high-fiving together because they're having fun. Now, that scene is so funny, right? Because you see it and you're like, is the wobble really going to be what it takes to repair this? And we know that the answer is no. But it's nice to see them just have a moment because it seems like they haven't had that same connection in months. And just as soon as the wobble has ended, Vince's manager thanks Andrew for the hookup and Molly completely loses her ish and flips. The showdown between Issa and Molly completely went left. It started out as a little funky conversation, but I feel like Molly really took it up a notch by heightening her tone. She came at Issa's neck, calling her a user and a liar, and ultimately had her finger way too close to Issa's face. Issa hit Molly back with, "You're hella miserable, and if your relationship doesn't work, it's not me. Like, you really wanted to see me fail for some made up boundaries that you set." And, the girls, we knew that this whole situation was bubbling for the last few months. We know that, I guess, when episode 1 started, it was 4 months before the block party. And so we know that these girls really have just been unable to communicate properly. And I knew a blow up was coming. I kind of predicted that there was going to be a blow up, but I was like, honestly, we have not seen a blow up between Issa and Molly since season 1, because they did used to have some blow up fights, but usually Issa kind of made a joke about it, and they kind of came back to each other. But boy, it was really ugly, and it almost looked like it was about to get physical until somebody says gun. I don't know. I heard some people say that there was a gunshot, or someone just shouted that they saw a gun. I didn't hear a gunshot. I just heard, "Is it a gun?" Well, it was like a whole commentary. Is it a gun? Is it a knife? Is it a wallet? This is my life, which was funny, but not funny. But yeah, just seeing the girls kind of go their separate ways, and Andrew and Kelly comfort Molly, and while Tiffany and Nathan comfort Issa, it was just sad to see. It was really, really, really sad to see. So I want to know from you guys, what do you think is going to happen? It looks like Molly, kind of went into the arms of her boyfriend. This new relationship is really his opportunity to show that he can be there for her. And Issa, as much as she took the hugs, she went off by herself. She went off to process the event and everything that happened by herself. We can see that Nathan offered to stay. She said she's good. And I really think that has implications for what's coming next. I think as much as some people really like Nathan for Issa, I'm not sure. I like him having a place in her life, but I think the relationship part might have fizzled. I think that he's playing the friend role. Maybe he doesn't want to be in the friend zone, but I think she firmly has him in the friend zone because if we remember at the end of season 3, she chose herself. And one thing about Issa is she's pretty definitive in her choices. We have not seen Daniel since the end, or maybe it was mid-season 3, in the middle of season 3, and he bounced. So I could be wrong with my seasons, but in that episode when he was helping Issa to move into her place, that might have been season 2. So we haven't seen Daniel since. So, it's very possible that Nathan and Issa are a non-starter. And that's okay. But it does leave that door open for Lawrence to come in and express his feelings. So I don't know. That's my prediction for the next episode. You guys let me know. Do you agree, disagree? How are you feeling about tonight's episode? Are we sad? Are we upset? Team Issa, Team Molly. You know what? I want my girls to work it out. I think they will eventually, but probably with a break. But I really want somebody to go and hold Tiffany's hand. I know a lot of us are not Tiffany fans, but I love the humanity that they've been showing in her since her pregnancy. I really do. So let's talk about it in the comments. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate my new subscribers that I've gotten this week. Hey, thanks for subscribing, and let's get some more conversation in the comments. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all in a couple days. This is Danny with the Swim Good Podcast. I'm out.